Hi guys, Ollie here and welcome back to another video on the channel, and today I've got a huge announcement I can't wait to tell you guys. As I hope it comes across in my videos, I have a huge passion for racing, but in particular the horses that are involved. Therefore, it's always been my dream to start a syndicate of my own, but to do so, I'm going to need the help of you guys. The aim with Ollie Draper Racing is to create a small, intimate syndicate where each owner is treated as if you are the sole owner of the horse, with me just more acting as your personal manager. So I want to build this syndicate based on passion and not profit, which you'll see when I announce the cost of this as well. As with most syndicates, there'll be options to come down to the yard for owners' mornings, get race day badges to go see the horse in action on the track, but also I want to provide you more behind the scenes stuff, stuff you've never seen before, the full breaking in process, the full sales process that comes before the breaking in process, and then the pre-training and the training itself. I really want to break down everything that goes on. It was part of owning a horse, from what they eat to, like I say, exactly what they're doing within training schedules, and really get to show you the behind the scenes of what owning a horse is really like. For this exciting new venture then guys, I'm proud to say I'm teaming up with Phil Makin, who's one of the North's youngest and most progressive trainers. He's a multiple Royal Ascot winning jockey, and he buys, trains all of his horses himself, so we're really going to show you the in-depths of how this is going to work. For those maybe unfamiliar with Phil, he's a multiple Royal Ascot winning jockey who's now turned his hand to training, and his talents have not gone unnoticed at all. Arguably the world's best 2-year-old trainer, Carl Beck, has been sending Phil some of his 2-year-olds to break in and pre-train, the ones that you'll have seen so successfully perform on the track. Phil currently has 17 horses in training, all of which have been bought with a cheap budget, and he's had his first breakthrough success this year with Hickory Lad. It's clear to see Phil clearly has a good eye for a horse. Hickory Lad he picked up for £9,000, and that horse has already amassed a whopping £72,000 for his current owners, and it ran at Glorious Goodwood just last week. This leads me on to our purchasing strategy, and like I say, Phil's already proven he can do it with a small budget, and I'm hoping to give him a little bit more, around the sort of £30,000 to £40,000 mark to work with. We'll be heading to the sales then in order to try and find something early, precocious 2-year-old, something that's maybe bred by a quicker stallion that we can get on the track nice and early and we can start having some fun with. This type of horse is also something Phil can identify. Like I say, he's proven it with the purchase of Hickory Lad, and he's already trained him, like I say, to be an absolute beast in the making. As I mentioned at the start of the video, I want this to be a real small, intimate group of owners where, like I say, everyone can get really involved, and therefore we're going to limit owners to just 40 people, but in reality, and when people start taking the larger shares, that's going to become a lot less than that. I want to build this syndicate, like I said, based on passion and not profit, and you're going to see that by my pricing. And I also want to give back to everybody that's showing faith in me and getting involved early as I go through the pricing below. Let's start with costs for a 2.5% share then guys. Like I said, this will be £1,500 up front and then £75 per month starting in March. Breaking down this cost, what do you actually get for your initial £1,500 payment? So that's going to include obviously the sale price of the horse, and then obviously all the costs that come with it. So you've got fees on top of that for buying a horse, you've got to pay the auction house, you've also got to get your horse back here, you've got to get vet checks, etc, etc, all that adds up. And then we've got to break in the horse, we've got to pre-train the horse, and like you say, training through up until March. So that's all covered within your initial £1,500 payment. Your £75 monthly fee then, that's an all-inclusive cost, so that'll cover absolutely everything. We'll just exclude Weatherby's fees, so that's entering horses for any particular races or even big events if we do get lucky. As we go up and people take more percentages then, like I say, the costs just go as accordingly. There is a slight discount on your training fees though if you do take larger percentages. And one last incentive, if you didn't need any more reason to buy into the Ollie Draper Racing Syndicate, is whoever takes the largest share, I will let name the horse. So obviously within reason, we can't be having no silly goofy names out there, but like I say, whoever takes the largest share will get the once in a lifetime opportunity to name their own racehorse. So then guys, just a few words from Phil, obviously the man that will be looking to train our horse. So I suppose we should start where it all starts, and in the sales ring. What is it you really look for when buying a horse, Phil?
So I mean, I try and look at the individual first, really,
yeah,
and then hope that the pedigree shows, you know, enough to, you know, to think it's right. But yeah, the horse basically first I look at, because that's what you're going to be training. And
then the page afterwards.
And then the page afterwards, like say, if hopefully it's, you know, it matches up.
I think that makes sense, especially for the budget we're looking at. When you're looking at the smaller ones, you're not going to be getting the big stallions, etc. It's going to be like you say, more the physicals, and I guess that's what drew you towards Hickory Lad when you bought him.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, he'd buy James Garfield, who, you know, not a bad stallion, but he you know, probably wouldn't be as fashionable as some.
Don't get the mares as such. Yeah.
Exactly. Look, I think the mare's very important. The mare had already bred a good horse, so, you know, so she'd shown she could do it. And then, yeah, I think sometimes people do get sort of drawn into stallions, and a lot of it's fashion, and you know, I think a mare's very important. Yeah,
value to be had elsewhere.
Yeah.
And obviously one of the main advantages I think up here is we've just been up to the gallops. They're absolutely lovely. Carl Beck uses them, obviously yourself and all the other local trainers. What is, in your opinion, is the best advantage about training up here?
Well, yeah, like you say, we're very lucky. It's lovely and quiet, lovely fresh air. I mean, these gallops have been here years and years. You know, the lay of the land's good surfaces, well maintained, and the horses just seem to do very well.
Yeah. Perfect. And then I've got to ask you, what's it like winning at Royal Ascot?
I said to you before, it's that long ago, I can't remember. Yeah, look, it's like, that's what everybody wants, isn't it? You know, and especially with the 2-year-olds, if you're lucky enough to have one good enough to go there, good enough to win, you know, it's fantastic.
Another great example of Phil's work, guys. Like I said, this horse, Bluestone Lady, she wasn't getting on in a big yard at Carl Beck's. Phil's taken her out from refusing to race in just over a month. He got a winning at Musselburgh on Saturday. Just a great example of what we can do. So then, guys, you must be thinking, how do we get involved with this exciting new venture then, Ollie? Well, very simply, we've got less than 20 shares left, so move pretty quickly on this. Either contact me on my phone number 07493 611 419 or drop me an email to olliedraperracing@gmail.com. Like I say, we've got less than 20 shares left. We're going to try and get this moving as quick as we can so we can get in the sales, get something bought and go from there. If you do want to check out my website as well, it's just olliedraperracing.com.